Wonder Boy 3: The Dragon's Trap was released for the SEGA Master System on 1989 by SEGA, and was later ported for the TurboGrafx 16 in 1991 and was renamed to Dragon's Curse. During April 2017, Lizard Cube had finished development on Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap, which was a remake of Wonder Boy 3. Obviously, Wonder Boy 3 is the third in the Wonder Boy franchise, following the events of Wonder Boy and Monsterland. In Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap, we start out at the entrance of an old castle in which Wonder Boy gets cursed during the first fight, technically the second fight, with the Mecha Dragon. In order to lift this curse, he must find the Salamander's Cross. Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap is a non-linear 2D adventure with Wonder Boy, or Girl, as the main character. 5 other playable characters are present in The Dragon's Trap. These characters are shown in the form of different animals and appear every time Wonder Boy gets struck by a blue flame, which represents a new curse. These curses are locked behind a boss fight, which are all unique, differently designed dragons with different abilities and patterns. Each boss has its own health counter as to show how much life it has and how much damage you are dealing to it. The first transformation is Lizardman, who is the only character in the game who isn't equipped with a sword, only shooting fire. The second is Mouseman. Mouseman is small, meaning he can fit in one-block gaps as well as he can also stick to checkered blocks. The third is Piranha Man, who can swim underwater, and the fourth is the most useful one, Lion Man. He swings his sword in a full circular motion, hitting anything above, in front and beneath him, making blocks beneath possible to destroy. He's also just the coolest. Birdman is the final character, which being a bird, his ability is being able to fly. Each character can further progress in a new area in the game. The new art style shown for Wonder Boy is very fitting for its fantasy type environments. All environments have been beautifully hand-drawn to give off that warm Disney movie feel, and the animations in Wonder Boy 3 are very enjoyable to see. For example, when hitting an enemy, it will have a couple frames of being stunned as representing it has been damaged. Such nicely done artwork working with crisp 60 FPS is a perfect match. The gameplay is similar to games from both the Castlevania franchise and the 2D Metroid games. The control scheme is relatively easy to pick up. Among the controls, there are 2 buttons that stick out in comparison to the rest, and they would be the triggers. These buttons on the controller happen to switches between both modern and classic gameplay styles from both the original and the remake. The exploration in Wonder Boy 3: The Dragon's Trap for a linear game is great. It is mainly made interesting by the fact all areas are designed differently and have its own setting. All main environments are linked together through a central hub. A huge part of the exploration includes all the secrets all over the overworld. Secret chests can even find themselves in dungeons from time to time, and plenty of backtracking is required in order to 100% the game. The Dragon's Trap has 3 types of weaponry. This includes swords, shields, and armor. The legendary set is the most powerful for all characters, but the rest however depend on what character you're playing as. This game, unlike the original, now has a little bit of replayability. Besides possibly needing to go back for 100% completion with items, there is now charm stones that need to be collected in secret areas. Charm stones were in the original game, but were only used for buying certain items that were locked behind charm points. There are 6 charm stones to find, and these are built around a certain character and what that character's gimmicks are. On topic of these stones, the locations are either very easy to find or outright outrageous. Tell me if you can see where this hidden area is. Oh, there it is. A change from the original that I and other people who played the originals appreciate is being able to change the subweapons with just a press of the button. It beats having to go into a menu and manually selecting the item. Subweapons are the most effective way of taking an enemy out. The clouds are unreachable on foot, so the arrows are the most effective against them. Boomerangs are easily the best subweapon to use, as 2 can be fired out and they come back to you unless you jump over them. Tornadoes are good against the fire antlions, which are below ground level and can't be hit by anything else besides Lion Man. The final topic and one of the most amazing overhauls introduced in the remake has to be the soundtrack. The original SEGA Master System soundtrack was brilliant, and even when the game was ported to the TurboGrafx 16 shortly after, the music was still a main highlight. But now for me, the remade soundtrack fits in perfectly with each environment, and the upbeat remasters of the original soundtracks are just fantastic to hear. My final conclusion for Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap is an 8.5 out of 10. Whilst the game as a whole is one of the best remakes to be made, that doesn't help the fact that the game can be beaten in just under 2 hours. On top of that, there is also a tiny bit of replayability. But with those two things being the only downsides, the rest of the game remains solid. The sound effects have been nicely altered to sound more modern, and the gallery is a nice addition, showing us how the graphics and music were made along with some of the original source material also being present. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's just throw. What the fuck? Nice, thank you. Okay, here we go. This is just gotta kill you. Just avoid getting hit by those fire. Oh.